There's a few new faces. My name's Jo. I've been working with the ICU Steps Chester group for a few months now. Is it 3 months or so? And I've been predominantly doing exercise sessions for them. I'm a fitness trainer, a personal trainer and group instructor, and I'm also training to be a physiotherapist as well. So yeah, the session's been going really, really well. And Sue got wind of the fact that I do some relaxation and stretchy classes as well outside of the ICU class, and so asked me to whether I'd be interested in doing a relaxation class. And the answer is always yes, because I am a huge advocate, more so in the last few years, the more knowledge I obviously gain of the benefits of relaxation. So that's a little bit about me, just so that you know I'm not some random person they pulled off the street. So I just want to tell you how today will work so that you're not sitting there thinking what's going to come next or worrying about it. What we'll do is I'm going to do a little bit of a chat with you. So I just want you, if you can afford me, between 5 and 10 minutes, just to kind of set the scene, really, to explain to you the whys and the hows, and get a bit sciencey with you, just a little bit, nothing too in depth, but get a little bit sciencey with you, mainly just to solidify the reason why we're doing this. So give you those reasons that it's a fantastic thing to do, not just me sitting here telling you that it's a good idea. This is, you know, they're proven methods for all of the reasons that I'm hopefully going to explain. So we'll have a bit of a chat about that first. Then we're going to practice what I would call proper breathing, or diaphragmatic breathing. You may have been known it before, or yogic breathing. Some people might know it as yogic breathing. Then we'll do some gentle movements and stretches that will just alleviate areas that generally get quite tense. And then we're going to move into a comfortable space of your choice, which can be the floor, if you can get to the floor with cushions and blankets. You might only have the chair that you're sitting on now, that's fine, but you need to make sure that you are able to get into a comfortable position. Or if Simon is in his bedroom, he's going to be laying on his bed. Marvelous, even better. So it's really about, it is about switching off, intentionally switching off. So that's going to be the run of things today, okay? So here goes the kind of listening part. So you will all be aware that your breathing rate, your heart rate, your tension changes depending on what you're doing, whether you're exercising, whether you're visiting grandchildren, whether you are watching a scary movie. You know, those things, your internal balances change from moment to moment depending on what you're doing. And that is all the responsibility of what we call the autonomic nervous system. So that's your inside system that automatically makes us breathe, increases our heart rate when we need to. You know, it's the things that you don't have to think about doing. And within that autonomic nervous system is, of course, what you will know as the fight or flight response. So back in the day of the old Neanderthals and saber-toothed tigers, when the saber-toothed tiger comes along, the fight or flight response kicks in. And so you either kill it and eat it for your dinner, or you run away from it and so you don't get eaten by it. Or the local tribe's son is trying to pick off your daughter. So yeah, these are the things that are innate within us that allow our body to react in a certain way to survive, to protect ourselves. So even though the days of the saber-toothed tiger and having to go out and hunt for our dinner are gone, what's not gone is our body's stress mechanism, or our fight and flight mechanism. And unfortunately, we are surrounded by stress today. We're in one right now. It's hideous. You guys have all been in a position where you are highly stressed because you're either worrying about your loved one, or you yourself are the person that's poorly. And so that's a very scary place to be. And mobile phones, technology, traffic, things you see on the television, we are literally, unfortunately, in a world right now which is stressful from the minute we wake up until the minute where we go to sleep. And even though we don't really see that as necessarily always life-threatening, it still triggers the same responses that life-threatening things trigger within ourselves. And so what happens is, whilst the body is normally quite good at sort of rebalancing everything on the inside of us, once that stress has passed, when that stress is perpetual and it never really lets up, then those internal mechanisms never really are able to let up. And then that has the effect of basically flooding our internal system with lots of things that we don't need. chemicals, hormones. It triggers nerve pathways that aren't really that helpful to us. Things such as cortisol levels, which you probably know is your stress hormone, that can affect inflammation. Inflammation can then affect how you feel pain and the movement that you can perform. Another job of cortisol is to improve the ability for the blood to use glucose, and so therefore it can send all of our blood sugar out of whack, which of course affects weight gain and diabetes. We already know that stress leads to anxiety and depression and all those horrible things. So it's not just about feeling a bit rubbish. It's genuinely about the biomechanics and the biology of the internal system, which gets really out of whack when we don't give ourselves an opportunity to just sit back and have a bit of a breather. What can we do about it? We can regulate it ourselves. We can't remove COVID. Well, hopefully one day we'll be able to. We can't remove the stress on the telly. We can't tell the kids to stop being frustrating. When you've been poorly, you'll know you can't just flick a switch and not be poorly anymore. But what we can do is intentionally take time out every single day to attempt to regulate and medicate our nervous system, our hormonal system, without drugs, but with the best medicine possible is our breath, yeah, our breathing rate. Now, this is why I say the science. I'm not going to harp on too much longer, but you can go off and research when you finish this session. There are TED Talks and medical doctors talking in the last 5 years about the benefits of proper, diaphragmatic, intentional, deliberate, deep breath pathways. This is going to lower your cortisol. It's going to reset your nervous system and your central nervous system, which has a whole host of benefits to combat all of those previous things that I'd said that affect the body. So breathing is so valuable from a mental point of view, of course, but from a biology point of view, okay, which is why we're going to do what we do. Again, it's not just me saying it's good for you. It's proven. It's a fantastic way to get balance back in your body. So the barriers to those things, of course, are just you in your head. So we are going to need to. We are going to need to be open to it. So you may be a bit of a cynic. You may think, oh, hippie breathing, closing my eyes, and, you know, it's not that. It's not that. So try and be a little bit open to it. Have a go today. And if you leave today and think, nah, it wasn't for me, fine. But I hope you won't. I hope you will feel the benefit. You need to value it. You need to think of breathing and sending 10 minutes a day as being as important as balancing your nutrition and doing your exercise classes. It's as important, if not more sometimes than that, okay? And also we need to allow it the time that it deserves. I did this calculation before to give you an example. So we have 16 hours normally in a waking day, yeah, with 8 hours sleep, if we manage to get that much. That's 960 minutes. If you take 10 minutes to do some breathing techniques and some gentle stretches to alleviate the rest of the 950 minutes, I don't think that you're going to find it too difficult to take that amount of time, yeah? So 10 minutes a day, and believe me, those 950 minutes will probably be slightly more pleasurable and enjoyable if you can afford them. So now is to how we're going to breathe. So we're going to go first with the first physical thing that we're going to do. What generally happens, and I'm just going to go on my knees, but I want you to be comfortable wherever you are. I'm just going on my knees so that you can see me. The other thing about why we get quite stressed these days is because of the way that we breathe. So you'll often find that you might be someone that will hold tension in their neck or their shoulders, yeah? And that's because of the mechanical way that we have all sort of learned to breathe. And Sue will know this well because I used to tell her about it all the time. So our body is designed that the breathing muscles are your diaphragm, which sits underneath your rib cage, your rib muscles, and also your tummy muscles. They are supposed to be your breathing muscles. What's not supposed to be your breathing muscle is your neck, your shoulders, and this top line of your chest. It's not really designed. We're not supposed to breathe in that way. But because we sit so much and we don't allow ourselves our tummy expansion, and also because we breathe quite shallow, because we don't really ever exercise to the point where we're constantly thinking about our breath, we end up breathing like this. And I can't remember now, I think it was something around 4 million shrugs you're doing in a week because of breathing in and breathing out. Yeah. So it's no wonder that these muscles are getting super, super tight. So what we want to try and get you to do right now is breathe in a way that is much more mechanically functional, is how we were designed, or how we are meant to breathe, if that's a better terminology to use, and will benefit you in taking some tension away from the shoulders. So first of all, what I want you to do is come into a sitting position so that your back is off the chair, wherever you are. Just gently lean forwards, yeah? And then I just want you to put your hands on your rib cage, not shrugging your shoulders, but just hands on your rib cage. Brilliant. And then what I want you to do, if you can, close your eyes. Remember, be open to it. We're all here together just for today to try it. So for now, try it. Close your eyes. I want you to breathe in deeply for a count of 5 through your nose and expand your rib cage into your fingers. Now I want you to purse your lips and breathe out slowly and feel your rib cage drop and descend and lower. Perfect. Carry on with that same basis for me as I'm speaking. So in through the nose and out through pursed lips. So I don't want this to be a hyperventilate, okay? I don't want this to be a fast inhale and a fast exhale. I want this to be to the very top of the breath, open the rib cage, fill the belly with air, allow the shoulders to stay relaxed. So consciously breathe outwards into the body rather than upwards into your ears and shoulders. And then when you breathe the air away, gentle little tightness on the tummy as your rib cage just pushes that last little morsel of air away. Big deep breath in. And breathe out. Now keep on that with the same timing that you found comfortable, but put one hand on your tummy just below your chest and one hand on your chest. Relax your shoulders. Do the same breathing technique again, except try not to move the top hand, but only move through the bottom hand. Good. Really try and acknowledge that the shoulders stay down, the shoulders stay relaxed. We breathe outwards into the side body, filling the lungs and filling the ribs, filling the belly a little if you choose, but this is an outward and an inward movement rather than an upward and a downward move. I'm just going to allow you 30 more seconds or so to practice this breath. You can breathe a little deeper if you wish, or you can start to wake yourself up. We're just going to have another 15 seconds or so. Perfect. Slowly release the hands away from the body. Good. And then just relax and breathe normally. Just roll out the shoulders a little bit here. Now, some of you may or may not, and this might not have happened immediately. This may happen a little bit more later if it does at all. Do you notice that you've got a little bit more saliva in your mouth at all? Some of you may not. It's proven that proper diaphragmatic breathing increases the amount of saliva within the mouth. Now, that might sound quite disgusting, but there, again, if you go off and research the proteins and the substances within the saliva, there are proteins and some substances in the saliva which have been shown to have a whole host of benefits. I'm not going to go back into those now, but this is another thing where you can hopefully physically see that the benefit and the reaction of breathing has already started to accumulate within the body. All right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to do a few gentle movements. These are more tension relieving for the muscles as opposed to for the nervous system. But this will really try and warm you, but also raise your bodily awareness. As a human in today's age, we have lost the ability to be aware of how we're moving because we don't need to, because we're automated. We get in a car or we go for a nice walk, but we don't really think about why we're going for a walk. It's pleasurable. It's not for any real reason. So we've kind of lost touch with our bodies. Everybody, me too, from what we used to be. And the more we can get back in touch with movement and the bodies, the more bodily aware we are, the more we love ourselves, not in a hippie way, but genuinely give our bodies the attention, hopefully that will reflect in your health as well. So first of all, what I'm going to ask you to do is, again, be in a seated position that's comfortable. You don't need to lay down just yet. Relax your hands so that your hands rest. Let me just show you whether you're in a seated position or not. I'm just going to come back here because otherwise the camera won't see me. I'm on the floor, but you don't have to be. Relax your hands onto your knees, palms face up. So you might be sat in a chair, or you might be sat on the edge of your bed, or wherever you're sat. So nice and relaxed, palms face up. Perfect. Good. And then what I'd like you to do is I would like you to take a big deep breath into the rib cage. You know how to do that now. And a big deep breath out. And as you start to do that, I want you to press the pads of your fingers onto your thumbs. So 1 thumb, 2 thumb, there. Yeah, you might rub the fingers. We press, we gently breathe, and we start to mobilize the fingers. Now, this might sound a bit crazy and a little bit like mumbo jumbo, but what we're basically doing is we are initiating those nerve pathways. And if any of you want to go off and research neuroplasticity, it's this fantastic new science that we have begun to know much more about, which is the fact that nerve pathways can be built and strengthened and widened just as much as a muscle can. So we start to connect with parts of the body that maybe we're disconnected from. The more we do that, the stronger that pathway becomes. Good. Pressing the fingers just gently. All right, from here, we're going to take the hands off of the knees and just roll through the wrists. That movement might be bigger for some of you and smaller for others. And it's very natural. There's no real pattern to stick to. We just roll the wrists and kind of now just think about the movement that you're creating. Think about all of those muscles that you have just in your hands and in your forearms and how amazing the body is. And again, this isn't from some hippie, I want you to breathe in the love and breathe out the hate thing. This is a genuine proprioceptive. Think about all of the muscles that are being used to just wiggle the fingers, to just roll the wrists, probably about 40, just in the forearm, in the hands, yeah? So we're nice and warm. Perfect. Relax the hands.
Thanks,
bring.
Joanne.
Shush, Siri. Relax the hands. I'm going to take Siri off and put him over there. Relax the hands and take some lovely gentle shoulder rolls all the way up and all the way down. Big deep breath in, all the way up and all the way down. Now, this is also a really nice time to close your eyes. And again, think about those parts of the body. Don't focus on anything else. Move all those things out to the side of your mind and just think about your shoulders and your back. Think about how the shoulder blade sits in the top of the body and what it does for you. Beautiful. Nice big deep breath. Super. At this point here, we're just going to bring our hands onto our shoulders to touch. You don't have to bring the elbows up high. And then we're just going to draw a circle with the elbows. Nice and rolled. Good. Mike and Amanda need a bit more room on their sofa. You're going to have to go tandem. Well done. All the way around, forwards and backwards, whatever suits you. Nice big shoulder rolls. Good. So we do hold the most of the tension that we own in our shoulders and our back, don't we? So this is a really nice way just to warm that area. A few more. Nice and easy. Super. And then relax your hands again. Now we do this exercise sometimes in ICU steps class. We're just going to gently rotate side to side. Not with any real vigor, but we're just thinking about the vertebrae. So the bones in the spine, they stack one on top of the other. Just think about gently wringing them out like a tea towel. So we're just turning and gently twisting side to side. We're not worried about leaning or being too aggressive. We're just awakening all the muscles, lubricating in between each of the joints. And of course, the more mobile and supple our spine is, hopefully, the less likelihood there is for any effect in the spinal cord. And again, all of those nerve pathways can become a little bit easier to access. This is why in yoga they do lots of twist movements, because it's a really lovely way to connect the upper and the lower body. Nice and relaxed. Super. And then from here, sitting in your chair, nice and relaxed, we're going to take this kind of circular movement. And I'm just going to move back again so you can see me. So you're going to be on the edge of your seat. I want you to just grab a hold of, or at least press the hands into the tops of the knees, and then just roll the body around in a circle, once clockwise, maybe then go anti-clockwise, or you might do 2 or 3 clockwise. And what we're trying to do, again, this isn't some crazy dance move. Don't worry, you're not going to appear on you've been framed anywhere. We're just trying to open up really nice and gently through the space of the hips, through the lumbar spine, so the lower spinal bones all the way down into the lower back, and we'll create these lovely big circles. And for some of you that'll be a small circle for whatever reason, whether you're quite tight in the hips and the lower back, or maybe you've had something going on with the tummy, you want to keep that smaller, that's fine. Yeah, we're always listening to the body and doing what feels good. And because these movements are slightly alien to what we would normally do on a daily basis, you'll be working muscles that you probably haven't woken up for a little while. So hopefully it will feel nice. Super. Now this exercise here is going to be the first exercise that I want you to repeat on a regular basis. So as Susie Mouse said, 5 exercises, and you can cherry pick. You can do 1 or 2, or you can take all 5. This is number 1. So we're going to go around in a circle 2 or 3 times one way, and then 2 or 3 times another way. Perfect. Well done, and relax. Exercise number 2 is going to be a lovely big liberal shoulder roll. So we're just going to slide the shoulders back and down, up and around. And you can add arms to this should you want to. You don't have to. If you feel like it will benefit you and you feel like it's a nicer movement, you maybe incorporate the arms a little bit, then that's absolutely fine. If that's too much, you can just keep it to a relaxed shoulder roll. This is exercise number 2. So as you see, they're not really exercises, more movements that I want you to encourage yourself to do on a daily basis. Perfect. Exercise number 3 is going to be taking the left hand to the outside of the right knee, whether you're in sitting or on the floor, and then just gently look over your right shoulder, and then take your right hand and try and reach it behind you. That will be smaller for some people or bigger for others. Totally up to you. And I want you to take 4 big deep breaths in this twisted position. So again, trying to breathe into the rib cage. A little bit more difficult to breathe into the ribs when we're twisted, but remember, we're not forcing the body into a twist. We're just in a nice gentle twist. Release. Good. 1 more big deep breath in. And gently bring yourself back into the center. You can give yourself a little shake off if you need to, and then take the right hand to the outside of the left. Look over the left shoulder, and then bring the left hand behind you and find that nice gentle twist. And breathe in and breathe out. Keeping those shoulders relaxed. And out. And bring it back to center. Okay. So far we've got 3 exercises. We've got the hip circles and rolls. We've got the shoulder circles and rolls. And then we've got a lovely twisting exercise, which you can do with a hold or with a nice liberal dynamic rotation. Then we've got exercise number 4. So what I want you to do for exercise number 4 is there are 2 options depending on whether you struggle with the shoulders or not. Exercise, if you do struggle with the shoulders, you're going to have your hands on your rib cage, okay? Your hands on the side of your body. If you don't struggle with your shoulders, I'd like you to put the hands just at the base of the lower head, at the lower part of the head or the top of the neck, okay? Now, if you're here, same movement as if you're here. What we're going to do is breathe in, take a gentle look up,
Lift our heart to the sky, pull our shoulder blades back to the back of the room. And if you have your hand in your head, then gently push your head into your hands. Now, as you breathe out, gently, don't tug on the head, but gently tuck the chin in, elbows come forwards, exhale, pull your tummy button in, gently stretch the back of the head and round the shoulders. Same principle here if the hands are on the ribs, but we're just pushing the hands lower. Inhale, lift. Open, 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 open. So we're opening the chest. We're opening the elbows as wide as they will go. And then we're exhaling when we're ready to exhale. And we're gently pulling the chin to the chest. We gently put a little pressure on the back of the head, but not too much. And then we inhale and we repeat. And I want you to do that 3 or 4 more times. So inhale, lift. So you're thinking about opening the body, the front of the body. And then you think about gently closing the front of the body. And that movement will, the size of that movement will depend on you and your mobility and your flexibility. But let's open the ribs, open the chest. And then close. Again, no hyperventilating. We don't want any dizziness here. We just want you to be in control of that open and close. And it does feel amazing. I love this. This is like the morning stretch, or I call it the sun lounger stretch. I just have this image of a guy sat and laid on the beach in his budgie smugglers with his hands behind his head. Good. All right, and relax. Give yourself a little bit of a breathe and relax your hands down. So that is exercise number 4. So this is called the open and the close, and that can be wherever you need it to be. Exercise number 5 is a beautiful stretch for an area of the body that gets very tight, but we're just going to warm it a little. So the exercise 5 will kind of incorporate some movement as well as a stretch. What we're going to do is we're going to look left and look right 4 times. Look left. Look right, look left, look right. Then we're going to look down, look up, look down. Don't go any further than is comfortable. That might be a very small movement for you if you struggle with the back and the neck. Look down, look up. Good. And then we're going to send left ear to left shoulder, right ear to right shoulder. Left ear to left shoulder, right ear to right shoulder. Try not to twist the head. So we're like Churchill the dog sitting in the back of the car. Oh, yes. Good. Left and right. Gentle movement. Perfect. And then what I want you to do is I want you to keep the right ear over to the right shoulder. Good. And I want you with your left arm, which is the one furthest away from the ear, I want you to point to the floor with a nice long arm. Good. So we have the head leaning over to the right and we're pointing to the floor with the left arm. Now take a big deep breath. Breathe out and lift that arm about halfway up and hold out to the side. So we're out to the side, not in front, not behind, just out to the side. Point the fingers. You should be getting this lovely, big, beautiful stretch down the side of the neck. And this is working on the trapezius muscle, a little bit through the levator scapular muscle, which are muscles of the neck that connect with the shoulder, which often get really tight. Good. And release. Give it a bit of time. And then we take the left ear to the left shoulder. Keep the right shoulder down. And then when you're ready, point the right fingertips towards the floor. Remember, that might be enough for you. Yeah? If it's not enough, we breathe in. We breathe out. We just lift gently the hand away from the side of the body. Remember, not in front, not behind, but just out to the side. We keep the left ear to the left shoulder. Good. And relax and come back to the middle. So we're going to repeat those exercises just one more time, those 5 exercises. Are we ready? So we're going to go round in a circle. So we go all the way around. So it's like your High School Musical dance move. Try and relax the shoulders. So now you know what's coming. You can perform these movements a little easier. Yeah. And I would recommend you probably time the movements rather than trying to count them. So maybe think about doing each one for 30 seconds to a minute, depending on how much time you've got. I know that everyone's always got something better to do than circling the hips, but I promise you it will benefit. Lovely. And then shoulder circles. Let's take nice big liberal shoulder circles with or without arms. Gently breathing. We should have a nice amount of warmth now, so maybe this second round will be slightly easier for you to perform than the first time. Super. This time we're going to do a twist, but we're going to keep it dynamic. So if you choose to, you can just gently twist. Remember the last time we did this, we went to a twist and 4 breaths. That might suit you better, or you can keep this nice liberal movement left and right. Good, and then my favourite one, let's go with the open and the close, or the sun lounger pose. Hands either on the ribs or on the back of the head. Big deep breath in, open. Gently close. Pull the tummy in, so you're trying to curl the tummy in towards the spine on the exhale. Lift and inhale. Squeeze the back of the shoulders closed, and then close up the front of the body by bringing the elbows forwards. Beautiful, breathing as you do it. Okay, good. If I'm right, I can see a bit more range with everybody already, which is really good. Open it up and close. That's really nice, Sarah. Great range. And close. And open. One more time. Super. Relax the hands down. Let's go with that neck. So we're going to look over once, look over twice, 3 times. No forcing, but just gently to the edge of your range. One more time. Let's go to the chin. Lift. Maybe that's not even a look up. Maybe that's just a look forward. Down and up and down and up. And relax. Roll the shoulders out. Take the left ear to the left shoulder. Point the right fingertips down to the floor. If that's enough, stay there. Take at least 3 or 4 big deep breaths. If you want that a little bit more, lift that arm away from the side of the body, just to the outside. Good. Keep that stretch going. One more big deep breath. Breathe out, relax. Good. Taking the opposite ear to the opposite shoulder. You might not have been doing the same side. Keep that shoulder down. Point the fingertips to the floor. If that's enough, stay there. If it's not enough, take the arm a little bit higher, but keep the shoulder down. Don't lift the arm with the shoulder. Lift the arm just by sending it a little bit further away. Beautiful. Hold that stretch. Good. And then release and come back to center. Roll out the shoulders. Really, really nice. Okay. So you have 5 exercises. Hip circles, shoulder circles or shoulder rolls, rotational movement, of choice. Then you have your sun lounger, opener, closer, and then you have your trap stretch, your lovely side-to-side trap stretch. And hopefully your upper body, whilst not aggressively worked out, it feels a bit looser and a bit less tense, yeah? Okay, so now is probably the nicest bit, but also for some of you, probably the hardest bit, because this is the point of which I'm going to ask you to, if you've got something available to you, to move to a space where you can relax a bit more. So if you want to take the camera, you don't need to see me in order to do this. So if you want to maneuver yourself so that you move away from the camera, or if you want to bring the camera with you and just pop it on the floor, all you need to do. You don't need to be able to see me. So you can be laying on your bed, you could be laying on a sofa, you could be laying on an armchair. You might not have anything other available to you, that's okay. It's just a little bit more challenging when you're not comfortable, that's all. So get yourself comfortable. And remember, the next time you do this, you might be laying in your bed. So just remember how the techniques have worked for you, and take from it what you will. Okay. So I'm going to give you another 5 seconds just to get comfy. You might need to wiggle a bit and jiggle a bit and do what feels nice. And what we're going to do is we're going to take on some
techniques, if you like. So it sounds like a very dramatic way to relax, but I promise you, sometimes relaxing is more difficult than switching on the body. Switching off the body can sometimes be harder. So close your eyes. Relax the body. Rest the hands somewhere where you're not using them. That might be crossing over, that might be resting them by your side, that might be allowing them to fall to the floor, that might be resting them on the knees. That's fine. And I want you to practice just for the first minute that diaphragmatic breathing, that proper belly, rib, diaphragm breathing that we practiced before, okay? So big, deep breath in, into the rib cage. Eliminate the use of the shoulders and the neck. Once you've found the top of your breath, you gently breathe out. You feel that descent of the rib cage. You feel towards the very end of the out breath, a little bit of tightness that overtakes the tummy area in the rib cage. That's good. Then we take that lovely expanding deep breath in one more time. And don't think about anything else. It's sometimes quite difficult to totally focus on breath, especially when you've got lots going on. But just try for me to think about the sound and the journey of the breath going in, and then the sensation and the sound of the breath traveling away from the body. And just push every other distraction just away, just for a moment if you can. Okay, breathing in through the nose, expanding the ribs. And every time you exhale, just try and relax another area of your body. It may be that you're someone that holds on to their hands, or maybe you grind your teeth. Release the jaw, release the tongue inside the mouth. Release the fingertips, allow the hands to soften. Try and relax through the buttocks that might be tense and holding the back. And then soften through the face and through the tummy. So hopefully now we're in this semi-relaxed state. We're going to take this breathing technique, and this breathing technique that we're going to do is called box breathing, and it's a technique that special forces and medical people can use, or police, when they know they're going into a stressful situation. They use it to calm the nervous system and to prepare. So I want you to take a lovely big deep breath in for a count of 4. Hold your breath. 4, 3, 2. Exhale. 4, 3, 2. Hold your breath. 4, 3, 2. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2. Good. You carry on around this journey of this box. So you inhale along the top of the box. You hold as your mind drops down the side of the box. You exhale along the bottom of the box. You inhale as you travel back. So it's inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Carry on with this same pattern. As this breath pattern starts to sink in and become a little less alien, a little bit more easy to manage, perhaps increase to a breath in for 6, and a hold for 6, and an exhale for 6, and a hold for 6. That might be too much for you. If you have suffered with anything respiratory, you might need to stick to a slightly shorter time, but see if you can challenge that breath and think of nothing else but the inhale, the sense of calm, and then the emptying with the exhale. And do this for another 30 seconds. Breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold.
Super well done. So I want you to stay relaxed, keep your eyes closed, no movements, no awakening. And you can send your breathing back to regular breathing without the timing. But I want you to do so and continue that relaxed breath into the rib cage, emptying the body each time. And this time we're going to use a visualization technique. So the breathing stays soft but deliberate. And this time I want you to turn your attention to inside your closed eyes, inside your mind. And I want you to picture an object. And that object might be a shape, it may be your favourite object, it may be an image of a boat or a car or a tree or whatever it is that your mind initially takes yourself to. And I want you to focus on that object. I want you to focus on the shape, of the colour. Notice the size. Look around the object. Is it different from back to front, from left to right? I want you to take a lovely big deep breath in, and with your exhale, I want you to exhale and press that shape away into the distance. So with your exhale, move it further away. Breathe in once more. With your deep exhale, we move the image, the object, the shape further away from your view inside your mind until you can barely see it, and all that's left behind is a lovely soft light. You start to bring that breathing back so that we can very, very, very slowly start to re-engage our mind and our body, reconnect them back together. Take a nice big breath into the ribs for me. As you begin your exhale, I want you to press your forefinger, your second finger, your third finger, and your pinky into your thumb as you did in our initial warm-up. So just pressing the hands, maybe rubbing the pads of the fingers together, just bringing some movement and awareness back to the fingers. So with every inhale and every exhale comes a new body part, okay? We inhale, start to roll through the wrists. Exhale, make that movement more present. Good. Inhale, squeeze and clench the feet and release. And then exhale, we bring a little roll to the wrists. Maybe acknowledge the feet a little bit more. Good. Relax your hands and your feet. Allow them to become still. Inhale. Exhale, allow the head to gently turn side to side, whether you're laying down or you're sitting up. Gentle movement left to right. Just re-acknowledge the neck muscles, the back muscles. And then take a lovely big deep breath in. Roll through the shoulders, nice and relaxed. Small movements this time, nothing that will initiate any tension, but just releasing and re-acknowledging those muscles. Super. And then what I'm going to ask you to do is very slowly inhale. Exhale, open your eyes. Start to bring your senses back to the outside world. Just allow the breath to kind of re-energize your thoughts and your vision and your sight, your smell. And I'm not going to ask you to move because you may be super comfy. You might even be asleep for all I know. I'm not going to ask you to move, but I am going to leave you with the thought that I heard a wonderful phrase, is that some doors only open from the inside. So we can eat healthily and we can exercise and tell our body what to do, and we can surround ourselves with wonderful things, but breath, which works from the inside, I promise you will really benefit both your mind and your body. And I really encourage you to give it a go as often as you can. Every day is great, but as often as you can. And don't be afraid of the sensation that it gives you. It may make you feel a little emotional. It may be a bit overwhelming sometimes, but sometimes, you know, that's not a bad thing, and it allows us to acknowledge perhaps the reason for our tension and our stress, and it helps us to be more productive with it. It doesn't send it away, but it certainly helps us to manage it a little bit better. So I hope you have a lovely, lovely weekend. I hope you've enjoyed it. Do let Sue know if it's been helpful for you. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend. It was lovely breathing with you. Well done, everybody.